How are you doing today? I was not planning to do a live stream this evening, but I read a Wall Street Journal article that kind of shook me to my core. And that is this growing noise around rent strikes. So Wall Street Journal today published an article that there is a building in Queens, kind of the epicenter of the health event, and there is a, what is it, 17 unit built, or 17 buildings, 5 stories, all affordable housing, so probably thousands of tenants. They are now organizing a rent strike. They are posting flyers and going door to door and asking even the tenants that can pay to not pay. So again, rent strikes have typically been done to get the landlord's attention. Hey, slumlord, fix your building. Hey, new landlord, lower your rents. Hey, there's usually rent strikes are done to get the landlord's attention. What caught me by surprise in this article was two things. First off, this article, if again, assuming it's being reported accurately, which in today's news cycle, who knows, I have no reason to believe this is not factually true. Wall Street Journal journalist is reporting that the intention of the rent strike is to get the government's attention. Think about that. 1,000 tenants in New York are going to go on strike paying rent to get the government's attention. Really? That's the goal? The other thing in the article is it is very, very clear that the people pushing for this are like, hey, homeowners got a break. What about us? Well, what they're talking about is forbearance. And if I had time, I would explain to these individuals that no, your homeowners, by comparison, did not get a cancellation of mortgage. They did not get a free month of mortgage. They did get a delay, but there is every intention that they will have to make that up in one fell swoop. And oh, by the way, if they don't, they're going to lose their house. Is that what you want to do, Mr. or Mrs. Tenant who doesn't want to pay rent but can? Do you want to pay 4 months of rent at one time? Do you want to be out on the street with an eviction on your record and try to get another affordable house? Not a good strategy. If you think homeowners got free mortgage payments, you are grossly misinformed. If you're running around telling all of your other tenants, hey, homeowners got a break, let's not pay and force the government to help us. That's reading the headlines and not understanding what is going on. If you go on rent strike, you are not going to get government's attention. You are going to get the landlord's attention. In a building this size, 17 buildings, 5 stories, all affordable housing, this is how that's going to go. All of you are not going to pay rent, right? Or at least as this article says, 80% of you are not going to pay rent. And of course, right now in New York, you can't start evictions. Totally get it. It's fine. The owner is going to go to his bank and his or her bank and get some kind of workout that says, hey, my building is on rent strike. Let's work this out. They are then going to document everyone who didn't pay. They're going to keep copious notes. And then when the court opens up, they are going to file evictions against all 80% of you. That's what's going to happen. And oh, by the way, over the next 3 to 4 months, services are going to be greatly reduced. The landlord has to make up the money somewhere. So instead of having 5 security guards patrolling, they may have 1. Instead of running the lights at night, they may run them till 10 o'clock. Instead of, I don't know what else what other services are in the building. If there's 4 laundry rooms, now there's 1. Going on a rent strike to get the government's attention is foolish. All you're going to do is hurt the landlord, the mom and pop landlord. Now, if you can't pay rent because of legitimate reasons, there are plenty of agencies to help you pay rent. Plus, oh, by the way, if you lost your job, most of the folks in affordable housing will make more on unemployment than when they were employed. Pay your rent. In the end, a lot of this seems to be misinformed. There seems to be almost a jealousy against homeowners. There seems to be a misunderstanding that homeowners are getting free mortgage payments. And if you're watching this channel, you know that's not true. But to see what's going on and not to play this forward is unfortunate. Rent strikes, unless they're for reasons that we talked about earlier, i.e. it's a slumlord building and the person should be in jail for not fixing things, which historically has been a good use of rent strikes, and I would even applaud that. I don't like slumlords. I think there's a special place in hell for slumlords. But if you're running a good building, if you're supplying affordable housing and taking care of thousands of people who need it, and then you go on a rent strike because you think homeowners got a break that you didn't, that's not going to end well for you. You're going to end up with an eviction on your record. It's going to be nearly impossible for you to get another affordable house, affordable apartment. What is one of the things I look for when I take a new tenant? Do they have an eviction in the last 5 years? That's one of the requirements. If you have an eviction in the last 5 years, I don't care what your credit is. I don't care what your income is. You don't get accepted in my buildings. So if you want to run around and play Robin Hood and hurt your landlord, you're only hurting yourself. Services will be cut in the short term. The landlord's going to be put in great pressure. The bank will likely work with them. And then the evictions are going to start. You're going to have an eviction on your record. You're going to wonder what happened when you have to downsize and live in a different area. So again, rent strikes are not a good idea. Communicate with your landlord. If you need help, communicate. Tell them. That's what it's about. If you can pay, pay. The landlords are hurting too. So in the end, I was very disappointed. I was disappointed to see that people want to organize a rent strike for malicious reasons. They're willing to hurt people that have been helping them for years. I am sure the landlord of that 17 buildings in New York has been investing in the building and making it safer and nicer. And yet you want to start not paying rent on May 1st because you think homeowners got a break. So that's some faulty logic right there. And unfortunately, you may win today. You may win in June. Shoot, you may win in July. But I promise you, that landlord will remember. You will have an eviction on your record. And you did it to yourself. So at the end of the day, that was not a fun article to read. I had to talk about it to kind of get it off my chest. I hope you have a wonderful day. We will, of course, talk to you in the morning for our daily Millionaire News. Have a wonderful day. Take care. Bye.